I wanted to share with you one of the coolest stories that I've ever had happen to me in my music life, guitar life, so-called guitar life. I started playing guitar when I was around 14, and the other day I did the math on how long that's been. It was 45 years, and that's some pretty ugly math, but it's true. And I'm sure you can relate that if you've played, music for a while, a few decades or whatever, you can look back and remember a lot of relationships that you've made. Some of those relationships were maybe short-lived. Maybe you were in a band or knew somebody in a town you lived in for just a short while. And then some of them, are long-lived, and you share life with them still. In my case, some of those folks have unfortunately gone on to not be here anymore, and that's really tough. But this story is like none I've ever had. This is a gear story, but more importantly, it's a relationship story. A few years ago now, I was really fortunate to have a local luthier build a custom acoustic guitar for me. I needed a case for it because he didn't have cases, of course, and I had an older mandolin case built by Calton Cases, and I still have it. It was just a great case. I've hauled the mandolin, everywhere, and the case is virtually in mint condition. It's just bulletproof. So my mind went back to Carlton for maybe the case I wanted for this new guitar. And I really don't know why. To this day, I can't remember why, but that day I remembered it like it was yesterday. I was at work and took a short break, and made a phone call to Acoustic Music Works in Pennsylvania. I don't know if I got online and searched Calton Cases and that dealership came up. Maybe, I really don't remember. But when I called Acoustic Music Works, a gentleman named Steve answered the phone, and we began to talk, and it was just really easy to talk with Steve. And I remember him telling me that Ricky Skaggs had just bought a couple of Calton Cases from him, and I just thought, wow, that's the coolest thing I've heard in a long time. And before the phone conversation was over, I ordered a Calton case from him, and that began a relationship that exists to this day. Since that phone call, I have bought a few more Calton Cases from Steve. We're not going to count the number, but there's some proof of it behind me. And our relationship has definitely, evolved into what was initially sort of a business relationship to really a sincere friendship, which I'm very, very thankful for. So Steve is a guy that I talk to about things that don't really have anything to do with Calton Cases or guitars or music, but just life. And I consider him a dear friend. Steve has another customer at the shop named Ralph. Ralph lives in another state. I didn't know Ralph until Steve began to talk about him. And he'd say, hey Dale, you ordered a case, and my good friend Ralph ordered a case, and let me tell you what he ordered. I'm going to tell him what you ordered. And Steve's very creative, and I was ordering sort of solid color cases initially, and he started telling me about some options that Calton Cases have, like a granite finish or a splatter finish, and different colors you could get and things you could mix up and do. We experimented with some of those things, and Ralph was just really unique in the combinations of things that he would put together on the cases. And I began to get to know Ralph through Steve, and we would sort of swap pictures of cases and talk about music and things like that. And it became really cool to sort of be inspired by somebody else's ideas that can really be put into a case built by Calton, because they're custom cases. So not too long ago, Steve told me, hey, Ralph just bought a new guitar and a new case. I want to tell you about it. I said, wow, that's great. What did he get? And he said, well, he got a Calton case. It was a black color. He put granite on it, and then it's a splatter case. Well, I had never done anything that complicated. I typically got a granite case, which a couple of these back here are like, they're kind of speckledy, I would say, or I got a splatter case, but I'd never done the two together, and never thought about it. Well, of course, Carlton will do what you ask it within, certain parameters that they have, and his cases were just amazing. So this case is Ralph's case. Ralph, who I met through Steve at Acoustic Music Works, who I've never met in person. I hope to meet him one day, and it's going to be a great time. But this is his case that he bought from Carlton recently. And again, it's a black case with a granite finish, and it has a yellow and gray splatter to it. And I saw the picture of it, and I thought, I've never seen one like that. I would have never put that together, and I love it. Steve kind of nicknamed it the Volcano because it's just kind of, the finish of the case looks almost like lava, you know, or kind of a dark rock kind of a finish. It just feels great. So the case is beautiful, and but you know, you don't buy a case usually just to have a case. You have something that you want to put in it, and so this is the guitar that Ralph bought for this case. This is a PRS, obviously, if you're a guitar player. Hollowbody 2, McCarty. I think this is their 954, if I'm right, something like that. I think it has to do with the scale length of the guitar. But this one's loaded up. It's got, it's double tens, front and back. The back of the guitar is just stunning. Just beautiful. You know, the mahogany neck and sides. You can see the maple binding on the guitar. The tuning keys are just gorgeous. And of course the top is, jaw-dropping as well. I've had a PRS hollow body, but it's been a lot of years, and this one is just the newest evolution, and it's amazing. So here's where the story really gets unique and why I did this video. So the guitar comes in, Steve, at Acoustic Music Works through a friend of mine also named Billy. Billy also works in the music business in Pennsylvania at In Stuff Music. Steve at his dealership, Acoustic Music Works Music Store, do not carry Paul Reed Smith guitars. So he got the guitar from a local dealer who he had a connection with through Billy, a salesperson there, and works there in the shop. And he said, "Oh, we've got a beautiful guitar in stock. It's a hollow body 2, just like Ralph was interested in." So Ralph saw the guitar and he bought it. So now what we have is this relationship that's going on. So Billy, through Steve, was able to provide the guitar that Ralph wanted. Steve, of course, with his connection and his, his business relationship with Calton Cases, got the case ordered. And Ralph said, out of the sheer goodness of him, why don't we just send those things to Dale first and let him look at them and maybe make a video and share them with other folks. And I thought, you know what, that sounds like a fantastic idea. What I would never have thought of. And so today I'm sitting here with Ralph's beautiful Calton Case, his amazing PRS guitar that came from another shop in Pennsylvania from Billy, all of us brought together by Steve at Acoustic Music Works. Now I think that's amazing. These are amazing pieces of gear, and I mean, when I saw this case, it was like, oh, it's beautiful. It's even prettier in person, trust me. And then when you open it and you see a guitar like that, just the epitome of guitar making today, it's unbelievable. And then to think that somebody who I've never met in person would be kind enough to share something that's very valuable, very precious to them, that they spend a lot of time, thinking about and planning for, was just amazing. And, watching the news and being part of the culture that we all live in, it can be pretty discouraging. But there are so many people, there are so many folks that are kind and generous and good, and that's what this is about for me. It is great to have the gear, but it's even greater to have friends. So I just wanted to share this story with you to sort of let you know about this story of my life that's really touched my heart, see this gear, and that really in life, it's about relationships. Thanks for checking this out.